Oh, yes, this maybe 8. Lana. Today, the Vietnamese are in the.
I don't even know what time it is there.
And Steve and Teresa. Good morning. Here, I think. Steve and Teresa, do you hear? Yeah, Stephen and Teresa and Roy and Lan. Hang is there. P.S. Hang.
Yeah.
Teresa, do you hear, Teresa?
Let me write her note. Chat. Can you hear?
Yes, Cindy Chang.
Good morning, Khenchen.
Yes. Good morning. It's 7 o'clock in your time.
Almost. Yes, almost.
Yeah. Teresa and Stephen, do you hear? They don't hear, you see.
They sent him a note. Can other people hear okay?
They can hear. Cindy can hear. 8.
Yeah, volume.
Yeah. Can you hear?
We couldn't hear, but now we can.
Yeah, I hear you now.
Now you hear, Stephen and Teresa. Do you hear?
Yes, now we can.
Oh, okay. That's good. Because I call you a few times and it's like you don't hear.
Yeah, at first the sound was, we couldn't hear the sound, but now it came on.
That's good.
Okay, that's good. We have one old friend of mine from Maine State, in the East Coast.
That's right.
Gabriel, here now.
So good to see you, Khenchen.
Reconnected,
Yeah. People from all over the world here.
Yes, we have. Yes. We have very good connection from
That's
Europe, from, of course, from the United States, East Coast, West Coast, and from Vietnam, and some from Malaysia, Singapore,
Wonderful.
So, we have quite a good connection.
It's so nice to be with you all.
Yeah, yes. I just try my best, to convey just to how Dharma can use in our life, not as some kind of like a culture,
Right.
Or,
Wonderful.
It's not something like a legendary,
Right.
Mírenlo.
Yeah, Anna Isabel. Okay. Anna Isabel, Lana and Lana and
Hello,
hello, Anna.
from Guatemala.
From Guatemala, okay. Qué bueno.
Gracias, Khenchen.
Yeah, muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Yeah. Buenos días.
Buenos días. ¿Cómo está?
Muy bien. There's a Lana, I think Lana from Latvia could be. Lana is from Russia.
From
Ah, from where?
From Россия.
From Latvia.
Нет, Россия.
Okay.
Россия.
Are you still Russia, you know?
Russia. Раз.
Okay. Nice to see you. Now, we are time. Who's the chant leader? Arne, who's the chant leader? You are.
Yes, but we still have 2 minutes in case people come in. Or shall we start now? Up to you.
You can start opening the prayers.
Okay.
That 2 minutes will take care by itself.
Good. Okay. Here it is. Let's start with refuge. In the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and the rest, may we attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. In the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, we take refuge until we attain enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and the rest, may we attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. In the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, we take refuge until we attain enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and the rest, may we attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the sacred happiness devoid of suffering. And may they dwell in the boundless equanimity that is free from attachment and aversion. With skillful means and compassion, you were born in the Shakya clan. Unconquerable by others, you vanquished Mara's hordes. Your physical form resplendent like a mountain of gold. To you, the king of the Shakyas, we pay homage. The ground is purified with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with tomorrow, Meru, the king of mountains, the 4 quarters of the universe, and the sun and the moon. Thinking of it as the blessed Buddha field, we offer it. By virtue of this offering, may all beings here and now attain the happiness of that pure land. Tram Guru Ratna Mandala Putta Mega Samatra Saparana Samaya Ahom. And requesting the teaching. In accordance with the capabilities and diverse aspirations of sentient beings, we ask you to please turn the wheel of Dharma, of the greater, lesser, or common conventional vehicles.
Hello, everybody. We have Carol from California and Steve from Los Angeles. So everywhere. And Kunchok Luma. Okay. And anyway, first, please take a deep breath. Inhale. Expand your chest and stomach. And exhale. Once more, please inhale fully. And exhale. Please inhale fully. and exhale. As we have said the opening prayers, so first please cultivate the mind. So cultivate the mind means that we just need to expand the mind of the wisdom to free from the delusions and to achieve the enlightenment, complete Buddhahood. Because up until now, our mind, just that enlightened mind is just trapped in such a narrow, within the delusion. And then we just cannot get out of that, just circles within that vicious cycle of the mental afflictions and the suffering. Ourselves and all the sentient beings in the six realms. So as I mentioned, it's not some kind of belief or culture, but this is something universal. So we are touching the universal reality nature. So it's very important. And we're so fortunate we have this precious human life and the teachings that what Buddha taught for every sentient beings, not just some Buddhist, some Buddhist hierarchy. Every sentient beings equally. Buddha taught the Dharma teachings for everyone equally. So everyone has that opportunity, possibility, to study, practice the complete teachings of Buddha. Not just to some, Buddha is not taught to some individuals. So you're High Lama, I'm teaching to you, it's not that. Buddha's teaching is to everybody who's interested. Buddha's teaching is not just to Tibetans or to Vietnamese or to some Asian countries or to Indians. But Buddha's teaching is to every sentient beings. Because of this, now teaching is coming in the West due to our technologies, the transportations, communications become advanced, so reaching everybody. So we should take advantage of this. And as I mentioned all the time, or repeating the same thing, our mind is very complex, very sophisticated. It's the most sophisticated, most profound. Yet it is so mysterious, ambiguous. This our confused mind cannot find it. We cannot find it through the machine. No matter how sophisticated kind of machine we have, telescope, we cannot find. It can find through mind by the mind. Practice meditation. Then we can see suffering that we are encountering in our daily life what about that suffering is. What the cause of suffering is about. No? See, so to this, no, we are studying the Shantideva's text, Bodhisattva Avatara, the famous book. That book is totally designed to study and practice, you see, not just philosophically described. No? So this is what Buddhists believe, or this is a Buddhist universal way. But this is designed to practice, recognizing the cause of suffering and how to alleviate from that suffering, particularly how to cease to exist the cause of suffering. No? We have a lot of complaints in the society. This, that, this, not doing this. Outside, there's a lot of complaints. But we have not recognized what's the root cause of all those complaints. So, no? So it's very important we reflect on this. Because some subjects are very sensitive, you see, in the samsara, at least, Like say between man and woman, as in this text mentioned so detail about our attachment, our engagement. Is something in the samsara is normal, and we should have it. But we don't realize behind that how much suffering is there, how much cause of suffering we are creating. So as to say, no, we just like Mahamudra. Oh yes, this is everything's just empty, just display. It's like a cloud. Yes, of course. But how we can handle that is never teach. So no matter how much Mahamudra teaching you receive, hundreds of thousands times, still our mind lives in the same place, It not become grosser, So here is looking at the root cause of the suffering. As I mentioned, that's what Buddha said. You should know the suffering is about. So here last time, see, all that we desire to show to perish, one which counts we fell to hellish pain. For that amount, very little, we must suffer constant, exhausting weariness. See, it is said, say no, So yeah, last time we just did the verse 82, you see. All that what we desire is to show perish, on which accounts we fell to hellish pain, but what amounts to very little, we must suffer constant and exhausting weariness. So verse 82. So So here what it says, all that you see there, four confusion we are facing, you see. Everything is illusory nature, but we see as a concrete, just like our body, one concrete. We don't realize how impermanent it is. We may aware it, but in our daily life, we perceive as one concrete, There's no self, but we're holding as a self. There's 5 aggregates, self, And then the state of our nature is a suffering, but we perceive as something joyful. So like so Ali had mentioned there, how this body is source of all this impure nature, but we're perceiving something very pure. So there's confusion, you see. So that's what it's saying here, because of our this 4 confusion, then we indulge with that and we create long cause of suffering. Because of that, then on which accounts we fell to hellish pain. See, then that for what amount is very so. What we are making effort so much, but the purport we have very little benefit from this. We sacrifice in our whole life, but how much benefit is there? Very little. That also all the effort we made is just for cause of suffering. So, so that you see continues you. That's just we must suffer constant and exhausting weariness. Then 83, you see, verse 83, with but a millionth part of such vexation, enlightenment itself could be attained. See. So here saying how much we make effort, as earlier mentioned, we go through so much suffering. Like to make friends when you are young, boys and girls, then how much you go through emotionally, physically, and then in between, how much we make suffering, a cause of suffering, should say. Oh, this you see. And then because of that, sometimes we are born in the hell realm, hungry ghost, animal realms. Even in this life, we have that, So if you divide all those sufferings for millions, divide all the suffering into millions, and if we just one part of that used through Dharma practice, the enlightenment, Buddhahood is just there. So, millionth, you see, enlightenment itself could be attained, you see. Some are suicidal. You see, in that you can see, you know much better than I do, in the world, you see. This is not just in one country, everywhere, all over the world. So, that's why, those who crave are plucked for more than those engaged upon the path. Yet Buddhahood is not what they attain. We went through so much suffering. As I mentioned, all the time we complain, suicidal, but we are no closer to enlightenment. Make sense? This is a very important point. Like here in the patience session, I want to, last time, not here we did, but I did with other places. Like anger, this what we are talking about, desire, our lust, attachment, relation, this, how much suffering we go through. Now in the patience section, anger, rage, he said, all the good works gathered in 1,000 ages, 1,000 kalpas, such as deed of generosity, offerings to the blissful ones, means to enlightened beings, a single flash of anger shatters them, you see. Just one single anger, rage, destroys all the good things we did it. So no evil is there similar to anger. No austerity to be compared with the patience. Stiff yourself, make effort yourself. Therefore, in patience, in various ways, insistently, without stopping. So this, I say, in the patience section, all the different types of mental affliction relation to our anger, rage, resentment, so forth, described all the details there. Now all the details of our attachment, desire, desire, this related to the ignorance, how much suffering is there we face. So look at these and just meditate. As I mentioned, this is not a Buddhism. Buddha created. But Buddha totally revealed the nature of the samsara and how much suffering we are going through. And with a great compassion, share, this is what you are doing, what you are facing, and how much suffering you are going through. So when we share this, we don't like it. Oh, this is something kind of a little crazy, What are you doing there? This is normal life, This is samsara. We are doing this for centuries, That's why we can't get out of the suffering. You see? So just as last time I mentioned, you see, don't take it personally, It's good to take just as a general, as a knowledge. Then from there you can investigate carefully what it makes sense or not. So this is our mental affliction, you see, ingrained within us so deeply. So our work is how to get out of this, how to purify these mental afflictions. In the world, in the samsara, you see, outside, you see, all these inventions, we should say, development of all this beautiful things they advertise. It will make you such a, say, this will give me my life such a easier. So you just push the button and you get it. And do this and you have done it. But life never has been easier, you see. More technologies are created. Looks very easy, very helpful like this Zoom, we are just meeting, very helpful. Put it down, then without something, then you cannot. So you see, basically, inside mind, outside those things all are neutral. They are neither good nor bad. It's our mind, how we relate it, how we relate to this. Mentally, how we are just grasping, relating to this. That's so here our focus is just how to purify. That's why everything is illusory nature. Everything is just manifestation. Everything is just a reflection. It's very important to reflect. Just a manifestation of many causes and conditions. It's like a mirage. It's like a moon's reflection in the lake. But in our mind, we are just so taking it so like a concrete. We're so fixated, ingrained within this. So it's so difficult to get out of this samsara. That's why I say, look, reflect on the 8 worldly concerns. So this is nothing to the lay people or ordained or non-ordained. Sometimes they these are just for ordained people. No, it is not ordained. Ordained is one step you take forwards, how to free from these cause of suffering. But still, they may are ordained and they are not successful. So after some time, they disrobe, you see, because the mental affliction is not easy to handle. You can see them many, first they came with the robe and with the sock, kind of, alert, careful, But after some years, then they disrobe, they sink into samsara, you see. So it's all what to do is our mental affliction, our delusion. So please focus on this, how to purify. See these things. Renunciation, as I mentioned, it doesn't mean don't eat food, don't wear clothes, Renunciation is something mentally well prepared, not engage with our mental afflictions, which is not easy. We are habituated for a long time. When your mind is clear, relaxed, then you say, oh, yes, it's very easy. Teaching said this. But sometimes when we are doomed in the delusion, then no longer, we're just struggling within that. We are so entangled, and it's difficult to get out of this. Everybody's interested, you see. That's the teaching that, as I mentioned, we all have to make effort to share this wisdom to everybody. This is not just the interest of Buddhists or non-Buddhists, this interest of all the sentient beings who desire to free from suffering, who desire to have peace and happiness. So it's all, you see, everything's within us. Samsara is within us when we are confused. Enlightenment is within us when these confusions are dispelled. So our meditation, our chantings, all the purpose to purify this our confusion. So that's a practice. You know, so the teaching you have heard of hearing, contemplating, and meditation practice. These three are so important, come together. First, you have to hear what teaching said, what Buddha said, what great master said. Then you have to contemplate yourself. It makes sense or not. See, it's very important to get the conviction. Once you are convinced, once you know it, establish your wisdom, that time you understood fully, but you are not enlightened. No, you are not enlightened. See, so then there comes the practice. So the practice makes the how to purify mental afflictions. See, so this first, you see, depends your conviction. When you are really, truly convinced, there's no doubt. Now you know it just totally. That gives you first very important point, step you take. So there's no alternative. This not just being a spiritual or non-spiritual. No. Sometimes we say this is a spiritual, use. Practice of love and compassion is so spiritual. No, really. Practice of love and compassion for everybody's interest, even animals. So then you say, selflessness is not Buddhist belief. It's reality nature. Since it is artificial, it's a fabrication holding the self in the mind. There's something exists self, I, concrete. As I mentioned the other day, divine soul, we say. It's not there. No. So when you believe that, then it becomes artificial. It's called exaggeration. We exaggerate it in this subject. And then we just talk about the divine soul is permanent, it's solid, which is not there. It's like a rabbit's horn, So a rabbit has a horn, it's this long. How many, now say, wrinkles there, So all just label. As I mentioned, look at the table in front of you. You have a table in front of you. It's just a label. So this is a table. Big table, small table, expensive table, or not so expensive. All a relative nature. And if you investigate carefully, table itself is not exist. We're not making it not exist, but it's not exist by itself. Because we label, we create it. But we here, I, myself, we just create it and we're so got used to it. something like very real, something like inherently exists, then I. So more we exaggerate on this, grandize on that, more we input in this, it becomes more kind of aggressive. When there's more aggressive on the base of the delusion, there's more confusion, more suffering is there, you see. This is how it makes. So here we should understand that all this before said, please understand it's for ordained or not ordained for enemy. This is for everybody's interest. We should all just look into this. No? So then here now, from verse 83, we go to 84. Now he starts making now more conclusions. See, reflect upon the pain of hell and other evil states as a result of these mental afflictions, mental delusions, like the attachment, desire, so forth, anger, Then these are real weapons, said no. See, weapons, fires, poisons, yawning, chasten, hostiles, foes. None is on a level with our cravings, you see. Our craving, our desire. That's the real weapon. To destroy our peace and happiness. See? So nobody can throw us in the hell realm, but these mental afflictions. So they are fire. It burns our peace, our happiness. You see, when you look at yourself, when your mind is calm, peaceful, not surrounded by these mental afflictions, you feel so peaceful, so happy. As soon as this attachment, strong desire manifests, all this peace disappeared. Happiness is just gone. When there comes some anger, resentment comes, our peace disappears. So they are the real weapons, fire. So our responsibility is to purify these mental afflictions. No? All things, constitutes as a mission. Many causes, many conditions. It's not just one cause. It's not just two causes. Because it's interdependent. So the outer, when you see a man sees a beautiful woman, a woman sees a beautiful man, that's the condition. Now inside we have the ignorance, desire, that because of that cause and conditions, then manifests our mental afflictions. You see, initially, if we don't have mental afflictions, mental delusions, ignorance, attachment, no matter how beautiful there is a man or woman, no matter how great conditions are there, will not disturb your mind because there's no cause. See, That's our practice, you see. These are things we need to practice. That's why it's very important, you see. This book is written in the 8th century. It's now in the 21st century. It's so relevant, isn't it? See, if we know how to communicate, you see. Otherwise, this is the 8th century. Now, why we should do this? We are in the 21st century, you know, the age of the technology, the science and technology, you know. Why we need this here? See, you know. That's why I said these teachings depends teacher who can explain, you see. Some will explain as a Buddhist philosophy, a Buddhist belief, you know. The others will explain in a different way. But here we should understand how we should take it, not as a Buddhism, but as a universal value. Everybody's interest, how to connect, how to relate. Then you will appreciate. It is not easy, see, but if you take it slowly, get used to it, at the end of the day, we will appreciate. So I'm so fortunate. I did it. Now how much I got the benefit. See? Now I'm really free. My mind is totally free. This is how we can achieve the liberty. There's a physical liberty and the mental liberty. So this is a mental liberty. So it is so precious, no? Oh. And this is these mental afflictions are real poison, is mentioned, you know. That's called 3 poisons, as you know. The ignorance, aversion, attachment. There are 3 mental poisons. See, in Tibet it's called duk sum, you know. Well, these 3 poisons are within us. How we can expect real peace and happiness. How we can enjoy our life. See, more we purify, release these poisons, then there's more peace and happiness. See. So this is all the Buddha's teaching. You know, 3, the Vinaya system. This is about Bodhisattva path. This is about Vajrayana path. This is about. Sometimes you have heard of in Vajrayana, these are all allowed. You know, I don't think Vajrayana allowed 3 poisons. You can become Buddha with the 3 poisons, you know. It doesn't make sense, you know. Because Buddhahood is a state that all these poisons are purified, totally perfected in the purification, and perfected all the excellent qualities. So this is the interest of everybody. So please meditate on this, reflect on this, because different teacher will explain you differently. Some say, oh, Vajrayana allowed this, so let's go, let's do this, let us this, no. Then Just look, are you enlightened or not enlightened? See, no? Many now groups, even Buddhists, there's a lot, some groups, there's a lot of confusion, a lot of complaints because of these three portions. Otherwise, why they should have any confusion, So our all interest is just purify. This doesn't matter what you are following, In Hinayana, also purify these three portions. Mahayana purifies these three portions. Vajrayana need to purify these three portions. Otherwise, in Vajrayana, where you become deity, deity means enlightened being. So that, okay, so the one of the Chandani, Duta, Metta, fire, and precipice, the yawning, Yawning is when you look at the, when you are at the very high cliff in the mountain, look down, it's scary, So that's the mental afflictions will take you down in that, precipice. The suffering is there. So, see, yeah, yang sata, the fall, chasm, yawning chasm, hostile falls, see. So they cannot compare to these things, to these our mental afflictions, the craving. Reflect upon the pain of the hell and other evil states, weapons, fires, and poisons, yawning chasm, hostile force. None is on a level with our cravings. Cannot compare. They are worse than poison. Poison will take this life. Not so much. But this is the worst poison. They will throw us in the hell run for eons and eons and eons. Our foe, our enemy can take life of this, but cannot throw us in the hell run. But the mental afflictions, yes. This is why, say, when Milarewa was meditating in the mountain, so many maras, demons manifest, throwing rocks on him, So Milarewa was he just said, wait a minute, you can do this, anything, anytime, but you should listen to my words. So he's just giving teachings of loving kindness, compassion, all these things. And they become more wrathful. Then finally, Milarewa says, go ahead. If you have enough power, you can destroy my life, but you cannot throw me in the hell run. No. So here's that kind of fearlessness. Because he destroyed the self-grasping, self-craving. So purify our mental afflictions all the time. Just that's why it's in mindfulness. Just watchful yourself. Purify for our own benefit. and replaced by bodhicitta, which come, you know. So these are the such very important point, you see. All the above. Other days we read this, you know. Some are very sensitive. Some are not so pleasant to listen, you know. I don't like to listen this, you know. This is, you know, this is only for monks, not we lay people, you know. It's there. But if you carefully look at this, please see this. Is this not just designed for monks or nuns? Designed for everybody who desire to free from suffering, who are desire to free from samsara. You see, so look at this. You know? Because without monk, if we interested to become Buddhahood, as I mentioned, all the obscurations, without exception, need to purify. See, all the excellent qualities has to be perfected. Like say, just look at just Milarepa. He was not a monk. He doesn't have robes, monk's robes. He has just a ragged, white cloth. Not washed for eons, you know. So under such condition, by purifying all the afflictions, and Milarepa attained Buddhahood. So these teachings, so please look at, sometimes, we, as I mentioned, we say, oh, these are for monks, designed for monks, not for lay people. We lay people, we are okay to do this, Sometimes I argue, then you are lay people, so it's okay, some suffering, I say, no, we don't want suffering. Oh, so this page 80, on the verse 84, look at this, 83, 84, very carefully. Of course, all the rest, but this like says in a nutshell. Why? Now, why we need to practice this? How they compare is how bad those mental afflictions are. Some teacher will say, don't scare people. When you talk about this, is scaring people, And then, say, I don't know why, So when you say everything is impermanent, something is a state of sufferings, it scares you. But actually, if you reflect on this, such a soothing, When you perceive something concrete, something real, at that time, when you say it's impermanent, oh, it's impermanent. Oh, that means I can fix it. Oh, wonderful. It means I can change it. Oh, wonderful. Okay, now verse 85, I think, Let me see. Now, at 5, what it says is that now, source now is, Shantideva says, I try my best to introduce you nature of the samsara, especially the cause of samsara. Now what we should do? So see, revolted by our lust and wanting. So this is the time to change now. Revert it. It's time to change of our desire and wanting, lust, Let us now rejoice in solitude. Solitude is not just outside place. Solitude of these are mental afflictions. When these mental afflictions are absent, it's a solitude. But also, of course, there's outside solitude. For the beginner, first we start outside solitude. Then we start there, mental solitude. Solitude means absence of this confusion. So he said, let us now rejoice in solitude. We should appreciate. It's beautiful, you see, in places empty of all conflict and defilements, conflict or afflictions. Samsara is a state of conflict. All the time there's a conflict. Within oneself, there's a conflict. Between, we have a conflict. In the society, we have conflict. In the family, there's a conflict. Disagreement. That conflict is come from the defilement, mental afflictions, klesha. So it is yes, it's a conflict, argument, quarreling each other. So it's the empty absence of the conflict, quarrel, fighting, and defilement. The peace and stillness of the forest, And the forest, when you go there, is so still, so peaceful. See? Even just when you walk on the mountain by yourself, in the forest, you just sit there by yourself. Your mind may be not so still. your mind may be not so free from affliction, but physically so still, so peaceful. So physically, you go there and then mentally adjust that. So then mentally you prepare how to free from the traffic jam of the mental afflictions. There's so much traffic, isn't it? We have. Like when you go to the big city, how much traffic there. Now, when I came to US, early 80s, I was in Washington, D.C., Washington, D.C., But that time, there was not so many traffic. In the early 80s, 82, 83, 84, 85, Then I moved to Frederick, Maryland, on the mountain, State Park. When I come back, like in the mid-90s to DC, and there are so many cars, so much traffic there, then I see, it's something little scary, So physically, I appreciate out there in the state park, not so much traffic there. Mentally, still, I was a lot of traffic. So first, we should try physical solitude, stillness, peace. Then, by our conviction in the samsara, all these mental afflictions, purify these mental traffic, mental afflictions. See, that's what is recommended. Now it's making connection. You see, all this is very important. This is how this makes the connection from this last for few days. Teachings on this all describe about the traffic of the samsara. How it's deeply rooted, the traffic of the samsara, with these all mental afflictions. Now, so to free from this, you should choose this way. Okay. Verse 86, now you see, no, yes, 86. Now describing this solitude. See, no? Solitude, describing solitude, you see. First he mentioned, happy those intent on others' good. This means now here starting about the practice of the Bodhisattva. First you say, when you think of for others' goodness, then there you achieve the happiness. See, that's what I say now. Happy those intent on others' goodness. See. And after that, that place is, who roam in pleasant place, form of massive stones. So in the mountain, you just find rocks. But these rocks, they are so peaceful, So Milarepa uses always set on the rocks. That's why his buttock is like callous. It's like a rock, which he showed to Kampupa. I achieved this, I realized this enlightenment because I sat on the rocks. See? Massive stone. Refreshed by moonlight, scented beams. Then you sit there, no noise, totally peaceful in the forest, the central scented moonlight. By gentle woodland breeze soothes. See, woodland means forest. Big trees, forests, there you just relax. So then 87 says, 87 in a cave, so in that woodland or in the forest or on the mountain, in caves, beneath the trees, in houses left abandoned, means there's no honor. There's no one who possesses that. So this, I think, Shantideva was talking in since he was in India, that time there's a lot of forest. But if you go to Himalaya mountain on the top, like Tibet, there's not so many trees there. It's bare land, But anyhow, yes, beneath the tree, you see, refresh. Yeah, that's like by gentle woodland breezes soothes. Oh, so now he described about it being in the mountain. Now, how much benefit is there? So as you see, no, I was reading wrong. First, the 80s, yeah, that's right. Yes, I'm sorry about it's a little confused. You see, first, I will read 86, verse 86. Happy those intent on others' goods, who roam in pleasant places, form of massive stone, freshed by moonlight, sandal sand beams, by gentle woodland breeze soothed. Now 87. In caves beneath the tree, in houses left abandoned. Now here, may we linger long as we might wish. So there I may stay as long as I like to. So it is means until the rest of my life, I stay there, meditate, in this empty, abandoned house, place. Relinquishing the pain of guarding our possession. So with very little possessions. Right now we have a lot of possessions. We have a house, a beautiful house. There are a lot of possessions. Then we have a lot of fear. If thief comes, robber comes, what if this? But if you're in the mountain, when you're in the mountain with little possession, enough food to eat, then you see, relinquishing the pain of guarding our possessions. Let us live in freedom, unconfined by cares. Unconfined means very clear. See, the unconfined vastness, uncreated. See, sometimes they use this like the Mahamudra of unconfined vastness. But nowadays, it's unlike this, that what Shantideva was describing now. Nowadays, we need a retreat place. And then we have to build all those cabins, and they're expensive. You see, not everybody can go there. You see, you have to have money to go there. So it's not so easy, you see. But during the Shantideva's time, Milarepa's time, Lord Jigto Sungkun's, after Milarepa, Lord Jigto Sungkun's time, there's all those places are free. Nobody will say anything. Only people respect you. If individual has the nerve, courage, no, sister, that this way the time is changed, But anyhow, those mountains, Now what Shantideva was describing, so kind of peaceful. Nobody will bother you. But not just being in the solitude itself is not enough. I mean, it's not enough just being in the solitude. As earlier described, first you have to know all about the samsara. Then you have to have the teaching to practice. Otherwise, later describes, in the solitude, bird stays in the solitude. The deer stays in the solitude. The tigers and the bears stay in the solitude. Even thieves, robbers, they also stay in the solitude. Nothing special, you see. Here, physically solitude, describing, mentally solitude. So this is important, you see. So let us live in freedom, unconfined by cares. Minds, this is we're talking about the freedom of the mind. Mind free from all the delusions. Relax. So this can be at your home. At your home, when you have a house, then you paid off, I guess, then you are free. Otherwise, you have to work to pay the mortgage. Yeah, right now, you see, the place where I'm now, I'm really like this now. I'm so fortunate, you see. Been very generous that who sponsored this, paid off. And in other words, I don't have to pay the rent. So I'm so fortunate, I am so relaxed, and every day I appreciate, rejoice this. So you see, so that's why now I can teach this way freely. I try to share this. So appreciate, rejoice your life. And practice the Dharma. Always beneficial. As I mentioned, doesn't matter monk or not monk, anything, Monk wearing robe doesn't mean you are enlightened. There are some who's not monk robe, but very sincere practitioner. Really sincere practitioner. Sometimes they are better than monk or nun. So this 87, then 88. 88 said, to have such liberty unmarred by craving, you see, not craving, not entangled. Such mental freedom. See, this is basically mine. The mental freedom is talking, to have such liberty unmarred by craving, loose from every bond and tie, you see. Again, it's a freedom. There's no bondage. There's nothing is tied. the officers, they have to have tie on their neck, isn't it? It's something, I don't know who designed that initially. You have to tie, you know. So free from this tie, relax, loose your body and mind, you see. A life of such contentment, such pleasure, you see. Contentment. Contentment is the wealth, the best wealth. When you're content, you are so rich. No. When there's no contentment, no matter how much material you have, still you're so poor. That mentioned in Arjuna's letter, you see. Among all the wealth, the contentment is the best wealth. One who knows, practices the contentment. No. One who have the contentment, then have all the satisfaction. So I'm so happy. No? Just for example, when you have a breakfast, doesn't matter, good or not good. But if you have something to eat and you're just content about that, you feel grateful. So, oh, I got this breakfast. Because there's so many people in the world starving to death. And here I have this food to eat. So I'm so fortunate. When you have that contentment, then it's an unconfined care. It's a freedom. Then when you share what you have, it's so pleasant. There's great joy, you see, within. So these are the teachings that Buddha taught, you see. I told you this story many times. Of course, we cannot compare Milarepa's life. But anyway, we talk about his life story, you know. He has no food, no clothes, you see, in a cave, like describing, exactly the Shantideva was describing, you know. And then a thief came at midnight, looking some, you know, possessions, wealth if there is. And Milarepa laughed, you know. Oh, you know, good luck if you find something, please take it freely, you know. So since Milarepa has nothing, he has no fear, you know, and he's so happy. And that thief also left with laughing, you know. So like this, you see, life of such contentment and such pleasure, even Indra would be pressed to find. See, here Indra is the king of the god realm. But this you can, in the place of Indra, you can put anybody, a leader of the country, the power monger, the billionaires, even they cannot find this kind of peace and happiness. So peaceful, joyful. What a precious. But we have to practice this in the mind. It will not come immediately. We will have, oh, I cannot stay without this, without that, without this, with this. I miss this, I missed it, I missed that, you know. A lot of things we miss. But if we have the practice, then we can achieve the contentment. Then there's no complaint. No, we just rejoice. I think this is the best thing. No, if the intellect would be pressed to find, difficult to find. No, so you just in your house. You just rejoice what you have. And then you understand those who cannot rejoice their contentment, how much suffering they have, you see. We, instead of getting upset, angry, we just practice compassion. Those individuals who are complaining, they are not satisfied. They are not happy what they have. That's why they complain. And they have so much suffering. See? So look at this. So this what Buddha taught us. How to be a better human being. How to be more peaceful. Buddha is not saying don't do anything. But Buddha is saying, we should choose the best one. No, there's so many things that we need to do in the world, but do the best one among them. How it makes you to free from suffering. See, how to achieve real peace and happiness. Okay. Then 88 we did, now 89. Now see, Shantideva was so very careful, you know. I mean, he's so skillful. So now 89 he says, reflecting in such way as these mentioned above. First, all mentioned, as mentioned, describe all the suffering we go through. Relation person with the person, relation with the person and person, relation with the wealth, all this. Then making that good idea to go to the mountain, describing some of the benefits in the mountain. Now next you see, reflecting in such way as these, upon the excellence of solitude, pacify completely all discursiveness, and cultivate the mind of Bodhisattva. Yeah, now you see. First, you see the excellent nature of the solitude. Means the best opportunity, best condition. Then, there, physically, you are in the solitude. But mentally also have to be solitude. Say, pacify, you see, pacify completely all discursiveness, all the discursive thoughts. As I mentioned, all the mental traffic, we have to slow down. There's so much mental traffic we have. We need a lot of traffic light to stop all the traffics. So see, pacify completely all discursiveness. After purifying these mental afflictions, cultivate the mind of bodhicitta. See, then there's a place, mind, to practice bodhicitta. See, making connection, the bodhicitta, mind of enlightenment. Now, in this book, in this chapter, in this, you see the Bodhicitta Avatara in this text. First chapter. Now, the benefits, the beneficial effects of the bodhicitta described. And the second chapter, so through the 7 branches, practices how to purify our mental afflictions. In the third chapter, how to cultivate bodhicitta. See? So cultivation of bodhicitta so describes, after being cultivated bodhicitta, now in that book, in that chapter mentioned, today I achieve the most that to cultivate bodhicitta. So this precious human life, I brought best result, benefit. See, rejoicing for oneself. Then next, you see, mentioned, you see, after having been cultivated bodhicitta, I would never give up this no matter what happened, even risk of my life. So making such a strong commitment. See, because your conviction, see, as mentioned, it's not just because of Buddhist, but because how to free from suffering. Because how to achieve Buddhahood, the cause. This saintly life, practice bodhicitta, I will never give up, even risk of my life. We cultivated mind, not just for oneself, but for all the sentient beings. So declaring to all sentient beings, today in front of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, I have a cultivated bodhicitta. No, you all sentient beings to establish Buddhahood. So all the sentient beings, including the gods, human, be happy. I'm there for you. See. Then chapter 4, 5. Now, vigilance, mindfulness, or awareness, how to protect the bodhicitta. Then chapter 6, patience. Chapter 7, diligence. Now here, chapter 8. See. Now bodhicitta, what is it? You have cultivated. Now we have to practice. Now it says, in terms of bodhicitta, see, that you desire to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. You have cultivated, but we have not actualized. No, we have not achieved in the mind. We have strong aspiration. We have strong inclination to practice that. But now here's a call to solitude and practice it. Because above mentioned, within all the desires, attachment, when we're ingrained in the samsara, you have no place to practice bodhicitta. See? You cannot help others. You cannot get help for yourself. Now, if you want to get help for yourself, go to solitude, meditate. If you want to help others, go to solitude, meditate. That's why you have heard of, 3-year retreats. 3-year retreat is, it's just an example. It's not the complete. Because in 3-year, when you go to 3-year retreat, it's just beginning. No. Some individual possible, but many like me, it's just beginning, just an example. So you can achieve qualities in the solitude. You can practice bodhicitta in the solitude. No, not in the conflict state of the mind. See? So first, you appreciate yourself, rejoice yourself. I have bodhicitta to practice. I'm so fortunate. This is always very important, you see. Especially when we are so kind of, when our mind is so in the darkness, when we feel there's no opportunity, that time just reflect bodhicitta within us. No, it's the mind of wisdom. It's the mind of compassion. It's the mind of courage. See, so I can do it. I can make it because we're Buddha nature. Buddha nature is within us. It's not somewhere here. See, alleviate yourself from the darkness. See, it's how to now, see, make yourself most. But first we have to start ourselves before helping others, before doing something others. Because when we don't have ourselves, we cannot give to others. There's nothing to give to others. So first you sit, meditate, reflect, and aware about everything is impermanent. Everything is illusory nature. But people in the world, without realizing this, and their suffering is so congested. No, they are so alarmed within that. Especially nowadays, you see, more technologies is there. Life become more kind of, congested. See. Then we have to depend on so much on the outer these technologies. See, there's advantage, there's disadvantage. But basically, as mentioned, the outside, all these are neutral. It's all of the mind. The mind has to purify. So bodhicitta, first you cultivate bodhicitta. You have heard of this 100 times, and we have to hear it 1,000 times. Okay. Oh, we want to make a short break.
10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes. Good. Om Banza Sato Samaya, Mano Palaya, Banza Sato Tenopa, Dita Deto Membawa, Suto Kayo Membawa, Subu Kayo Membawa, Anorata Membawa, Sarwa Sute Meprayasa, Sarwa Karma Sutame, Cetana, Shriya, Kuru Hum, ha 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 ho bhagavana saro tatangata bardama memanta bardamba mahasamaya satuva. So today we went not many verses, but I explained a little more because we have to kind of go through more, deeper, see how essential they are. So reflect on this and try to relax yourself, rejoice yourself. So I have a breakfast to eat. I'm so fortunate, I have a lunch to eat. I'm so fortunate. You see, can you do that? See, there are a lot of people who are dying without breakfast, without lunch. Just refresh yourself. Thank you. Make a short break.